Hi, my name is Ari Eisinger, and I'm going to be playing and teaching some songs by the great bluesman Blind Boy Fuller. I found when I was studying Blind Boy Fuller's music, preparing for this video, and taking down every last note he was playing, whether it was the one I expected or not, that a lot of times it wasn't the one I expected. In contrast to other players with a more regular, rigid, you might say, guitar style like Mississippi John Hurt, where you can always tell which bass note's coming up next because he's always playing the exact same pattern, and where your thumb gets every bass note on every beat. Blind Boy Fuller is, you might say, more all over the place with his right hand. I think one of the reasons for this is that the National Steel guitar is really resonant, and if you play a lot of notes, it's going to sound a little too full. So sometimes if you want to syncopate your playing, for instance, you may play a bass note with your thumb before the beat, and if you want to not play some bass notes but just have your index finger and perhaps your middle finger take over, that's okay. The sound is fat enough to sustain the flow of the music. And if you just put all the bass notes in, it would sound much too crowded, wouldn't be as syncopated. So that's one of the things that surprised me when I was listening to him. There's a lot of cases where you think there'll be the usual bass note, and well, I kept rewinding the tape, and no, I just couldn't hear it, and I concluded it wasn't there. He's just using his index finger. I've tried to make the tab as accurate as possible, which makes it all the more difficult to learn. So I hope you'll just take the time and do it note for note and do it note for note again till it makes sense to you. Okay, let's get in tune. I have the guitar tuned a whole step low because that's a more comfortable range for my voice. So I'm afraid that if you're going to match the notes exactly as you play, you're going to have to tune a whole step low. You may have to get your action raised to do that. In any case, here's the notes. The E string, less a whole step, which is really D. That's the E string. The A string. D. G. B. And finally the high E. Okay, and that's not really E, it's really D, but it's easier just to think of the strings as E, A, D, G, B, E as usual. Okay, so now I'm going to play Meet Shakin' Woman for you. Got a big fat woman, meat shaking on her bone. Said, hey, hey, meat shaking on her bone. And every time she shakes, there's another man's dollar gone. Well, I asked my baby, give me her smallest change. Said, hey, hey, give me your smallest change. And the dollars come a-dropping down, baby, like showers of rain. I want ham and eggs. Said, hey, hey, I want ham and eggs. babe, I want to feel your leg. Well, you let me feel your leg, and it felt so soft. Said, hey, hey, and it felt so soft. Well, you know what you promised me, now please don't put me off. Okay, before we get into the picking, let's have a look at the chords. It's C, F, and G, but it's a particular C, F, and G. The C is played like a normal C chord with two additions. One is you're putting your pinky on the top string, the high E string at the 3rd fret, and the other is that you're getting two strings at once, the 5th and the 6th strings. You're fretting both of them at the 3rd fret with your ring finger. That's the C chord. In the F chord, your thumb comes up around the neck to get the 1st fret of the 6th string. And aside from that, it's a normal F chord. You also have a regular garden variety type G chord and G7. So those are the chords. Now for the song, this is the basic lick. And what you're doing is you're using C, you're using F, and for a brief time you're on no chord because you're just getting a note that's nowhere near the chord, which is on the 4th fret. So you're going in the C chord. It's the 6th string, the 1st string, and the 4th string. So the bass is this. Then you come off the chord and your pinky or your ring finger, if it's more comfortable for you, goes and gets just briefly the 4th fret of the 2nd string, and then you're back into the chord. And then for one beat you go briefly to an F chord and back to C and do it again. So it's a brief bass run, and you on your right hand you can just use your thumb for this, and then the bass goes in a blind Blake manner. You're getting the note between the beats followed by the next beat. So it's, but you also have a treble note on top of the second of those two bass notes in that blind Blake style thumb roll. That's in the G chord, and then you're back to C, and then you go to C7th, and you have some nice thumb syncopation on that. So you're going. Then you go to your F chord, and the bass is 6th string, 4th string, 4th string, 4th string. Sounds strange to say, but it sounds real good when you're playing this tune. Back to C, and you do something that's similar to the original lick, but then you go, you put part of that and part of the other lick in there. So you're going, and then comes an extended bass run, which you can just use your right hand thumb for. More or less on a G chord. And then again you leave the neck and you just go to, you leave your chord and you just go up to the 4th fret for that little note. And then you come down on the 4th string, 3rd fret, and then you do another blind Blake style run on a G, and you're back in C, C7th, C, C7th, F, and then the 1st fret of the 4th string, and a blind Blake roll gets you back to C. So I'd like to do it just slowly all the way through. So let's go to the split screen for that.